I'd like to begin with a disclaimer. This may sound critical, but this is not going to be a criticism of Nikon. This is my personal view of a few things that need to be done for beloved Nikon to grow and prosper. Because we all want them to come out with great gear. And Nikon will come out with great gear if they make more money and if they're more successful. Of course, Nikon are doing things to make money, but with a shrinking base, they'll have to make some amount of money from less number of people. So as a result, Nikon products might get expensive, more and more expensive, which as a consumer I don't want. I want Nikon to start growing again, make the base large again, and start making products that are cutting edge and at the same time affordable. Now, having said all of that, let me tell you why I think that the Z9 is not going to be enough for a Nikon turnaround. We have seen that all the conversations with the Nikon executives lately paint a picture of a company that is completely engaged in making this big beastly Z9. It's like they have one single minded goal and that's it. And honestly speaking, I really admire that attitude. Reports of the latest interview with a top Nikon executive says that they really understand the importance of getting the Z9 just right. They understand that a lot of people are, how many people are actually looking forward to the Z9 as a big thing coming from Nikon. The engineering team gets that and they're aware of the tall expectations, right? However, Z9 is a big camera for a tiny part of the market, and that's where the problem begins. Let me explain. But before that, let me remind you to subscribe to Frames if you like this content, and also check out the rest of the videos in the channel, please. You will probably enjoy quite a few of them. Now let me talk about the first reason. Z9 is a very niche product. Sony guys won't buy it, Canon guys won't buy it. Canon, in fact, stopped the probability of a lot of Canon shooters potentially shifting to a unibody Z9 by announcing the R3 and bombarding the market with leaks and getting the market excited again about what's coming next in the form of R3 from Canon. So that's not happening. You're not going to get Nikon and Sony guys to sort of get into the Nikon fold because of Z9. The people who just bought the D6 will not buy the Z9 because it's a recent investment they made in the F mount system again, and they spent a lot of money on that camera. Maybe some of the D5 users may shift, they might consider, but I think most of the buyers will come from, most of the Z9 buyers will come from people who are still using a D4 or a D4S because it's been some time that they have upgraded, so it makes sense for them to sort of go for the Z9 or look for a complete shift to a more modern and mirrorless system. Will the next generation of pros buy something like this? They would, and many want to buy, but right now they're invested in the likes of Canon R5 or Sony A7 R3 and wishing Nikon good luck, really, waiting for something from Nikon, something exciting to come from Nikon. And Nikon needs to win their trust. And I think I could be wrong, but I think for these consumer segments, Nikon needs to lower the cost of entry. They won't just sell off their entire Canon or Sony system and get into the Nikon system again, because that's a lot in stake, right? A lot of money. They will take it slow. They will take baby steps towards trying the system as the system matures eventually. So they would like to try the next gen Nikon mirrorless tech in a more affordable body, not like something in a Z9, but slightly more affordable, right? Something that is between the Z7 maybe and the Z9, like maybe a $3,000 to $3,500 Z8 with high megapixels, something that's great for fast shooting, for wildlife and sports also. What that will do is that it will allow people to try the new Z system that is based on the Z9, the tech that is based on the Z9. So Z9 cannot be, in my mind, a lone warrior. And if you see, there's a huge empty space between the Z7 II and the $6,500 Z9, and no one is really expecting the next gen Z7 or the Z6 to come out before late 2023. So there's a lot of time to go. So therefore, news on Z8 I think is critical for Nikon, and I'm sure that Nikon is working on it, but they haven't said anything to confirm it yet. Similarly, I strongly believe that Nikon needs a low cost recruitment product for the system, for the entry segment as well. With a few firmware updates, the Z5 could be a really potentially a great camera. The price is already very good. Also, a Z52 Mark II will be critical to open up the system to more people. So communication, you see, I think communicating to the audience, to the market, with a clear portfolio strategy is crucial. If you look at Sony, Sony's naming reveals that there is a certain method to Sony's portfolio strategy. You can understand their segmentation of products just by the names. In turn, consumers know exactly what to buy and what to expect from a certain kind of body. A Sony user is highly unlikely to go birding with a A7 III, but the Nikon users keep trying stuff like that. They would take a Z6 out and try professional birding, and then they will say, what a bad camera. I think therefore Nikon should have a body lineup just like a lens lineup, because that clarifies a lot of things to people, that sets the right expectations. But what do you think? Does it make sense? Am I making sense here? If you think that these points are valid, then please talk about it in the comment section, probably in on other social media spaces, so that Nikon can take notice. Now, the second point I think is very another interesting, crucial point is that addressing the video and the hybrid segment. Look, I cannot stress on it enough, guys. While the Z system photo files have set a benchmark in the industry in terms of what kind of quality the raw files have, the video files are almost malnutrition right out of the camera. But the colors and the skin tones are so sweet, perhaps the best. But the files are not good to edit. Therefore, an external recorder becomes a need for an enthusiastic video shooter who who loves Nikon otherwise. So it's important that Nikon respects this segment as well. The truth is that the fix, I think, is quite simple, because you don't have to really think of a new format. A lot of brands have already done it. Even if Nikon aims at making a more finished version of something like a Sony A7C, it will be a bull's eye product, which means there are just a few things you have to get right. In my mind, you have to get three simple things right for a mid-range body like that. For example, the first one that I think is very important for a camera like that, it should have firstly a flip screen, right? Come on, Nikon, it's about time. And second, you need better files coming out from inside the camera without the support of an external recorder. So I think HLG and log internal, even if it is 8-bit 422, but I think it will do that, will do it for a lot of people. And lastly, unlimited recording time. I think the record limit of 30 minutes is a bit archaic almost right now. If not unlimited, at least can we increase the time to 1 hour, because that is adequate time for you to plan a shoot. So if not 30 minutes, then 1 hour, I think even that is a lot more workable. So these three things will give us a great mid-level video first hybrid camera that is very good at photo as well. Almost all Nikon cameras are excellent when it comes to photography. Now, do you agree? Do you care about video? Do you look at other brands only for better in-camera video files? Let's discuss that. I am very curious to know your points of view on that. Moving to the third reason, Nikon has to stress more on the compact trend. The trend will not reverse. You see, because throughout the history of technology, devices have only gotten smaller and lighter and more convenient, and over the time cheaper as well. So that rule will apply to cameras as well, and irreversibly. Compact cameras and compact lenses with more capabilities is the future. By compact cameras, I mean full frame cameras with with all the functionalities, but I mean in size they're going to keep getting lighter and more compact, which is why I think Nikon's newly announced 40mm f2 is going to be a benchmark again in lens design. And of course, Nikon will keep creating many benchmarks for the industry with the Z mount lenses, and I expect them to design breakthrough compact lenses as well. Samyang's Tiny series and Sony's Tiny Primes have shown the way. However, because of the Z mount, no other system or no other brand really are in a better position to design the kind of lens, high quality compact lenses like Nikon. And I think Nikon has been doing fairly good job of getting the priorities right when it comes to lens, because they have put all the 1.8 lenses out. then they put the 2.8s out, then they've launched a couple of macros, and then they'll now get into the more niche segments like that are super telephoto zooms and primes. So that makes sense. But I think they could have by now actually looked at launching more compact lenses, not just after 2.5 years, not just announce a couple of them. But I think overall they have been good at communicating what their vision is for the lenses. But when it comes to body, I think there's a lot of confusion. Therefore, I think, like I said before, Nikon consumers actually deserve to have a sense of what kind of bodies are lined up. I think Nikon should publish a body lineup, if that makes sense. We need, and fundamentally, more importantly, overall, we need more communication from Nikon. Nikon needs to communicate more. You know what? If I am thinking about all this, I'm sure Nikon have strategic thinkers who can figure these things out. But they need to articulate and communicate to people. They need to open up as a brand, talk to YouTubers, use the power of social media much more than they're doing right now. Manage their image better, because that's just so important right now. That's something an image maker brand should be able to do. Now, why won't you subscribe if you like this content? And tell me what you think about this conversation today. I know this could be controversial. I might have hurt a few people by saying that this is not going to be enough for Nikon success in future. But the intent is to say that show the gap in their body lineup and the kind of potential opportunities that Nikon have in when it comes to lenses, and the kind of things that the market is really is looking forward to. As a Nikon user, I am looking forward to. So I'm very curious to get to know your views on it, right? So please share your thoughts. See you very soon. Thank you.